So welcome to AB Astrology. Welcome all. Today it's a very special day. I'm immensely happy. It's my privilege. It's my honor. And I don't know what kind of vibrations I'm feeling inside, which is hard to explain in words. Today I have my own teacher, one of my teachers, through whom I keep bothering him all the time. And he's on my channel today, and it's my privilege and honor, Sandeep ji. So please welcome all Dr. Santhip Kanholy ji, and sir, please, it's a complete honor and privilege to have you on my channel. I hate to say my channel, but in a practical terms, we have to say it sometimes. So please,
yeah, sure,
welcome.
sure, Amanji. It's thank you for inviting me to your channel. You're doing great work. I'm really happy to be on your channel also,
Thank you.
especially with where you're sharing very simple kind of remedies and
Yes.
interpreting nakshatras and making it more popular to many people. So I'm really happy with that. So I'm just glad to be part of your channel, and thank you for the invitation again.
So those people who always ask me that from where I have gotten my knowledge. So here's my teacher, one of my teachers. The rest of the teachers will also join in future, as it's hard to do the tie-up and coordination with their schedule. So, but sir, I don't have enough words for you. Thank you.
Yeah, nothing like that, Amanji. I think I'm glad that the topic of nakshatras, which you
Yes.
are a specialist in. I'm glad that I'm grateful for Dr. Arjun Pai, for having introduced that topic to myself and for literally to the whole world actually.
Yes.
And then I'm just grateful, to be part of that, increasing the astrological quotient of nakshatras, for lack of a better word, So that's good. Great, Amanji.
And I also have to tell the audience that not many people, those who know Sandeep ji, they are aware of it. But those who don't know Sandeep ji yet, he's the master. I always say to other people that he's the master of many techniques. So sometimes what happens is people are master of one technique, like me. I'm not even a master, but if I follow something, I'll just follow that. But Sandeep ji has the ability, has the capacity to master many techniques. And just like I was mentioning, I always after him to learn more techniques. And so I requested him so that all the viewers, especially all the viewers who were asking me, can you bring Sandeep ji on your channel? Because we wanted to take his insights on Nakshatra. So this is a very big, very good opportunity for me to learn and for the subscribers to learn from you, sir.
Great, Amanji. So I'll just share some maybe 2 or 3 simple techniques which I think will be helpful. Though I won't call myself a master, I'm still a student. In my opinion, to be frank, I do believe that the techniques have a life of its own. Each and every technique, to be frank, whatever be the technique. In fact, what is great about astrology is that whatever you are using, I do believe that it has a life by itself. It has some supernatural power, some kind of superior quality to each of those individual techniques.
Sir.
And one big simplest thing, one thing I shared this with you also when we met also. One simplest thing is to become aware of the space around you when you are actually looking at a chart. Now most of the people, especially who know me, they know that I pay a lot of attention to omens.
Yes.
In fact, another astrologer even said that even the astrological chart which we look at is nothing but an omen that is happening in the sky at the moment of your birth.
Yes.
So if the omen that is happening in the sky is important, then naturally the omens that are happening on the earth plane is also very, very important. It's very simple, and many times we'll get many omens which actually answer the question which we have in our own mind in many ways. And it's surprising. And the only thing which one needs to have is actually that ability to simply become aware of what is happening at that moment. It's as simple as that. And one simple technique I can say is that so when you're reading a chart, like say someone invites you and you're just reading a chart, look at the direction where you're sitting. Look at the direction where you're sitting. Say most of the astrologers right now, they sit in a robotic manner. They face east, they face north, northeast. All that kind of thing happen.
Right, sir.
But you can kind of use that technique in a way that you are sitting in one particular direction. Look at where the other person is sitting, and say you are meeting with a friend. Say a person is sitting, and I talked to you about this technique, right? I should demonstrate that. So when the other person is say sitting in the east direction,
right,
you can know for sure that that person's sun is going to be very strong. Now say that other person is sitting in the west direction, 100% you can say that that Saturn is going to play a big role in that person's chart or life at that moment. And perhaps you yourself might be facing east direction. You yourself might be facing west direction also. And same thing, with the north direction, you can see that, there'll be a Mercury kind of effect playing out in that person's life. If you're facing south direction, Mars kind of effect will be playing. And this I can say for sure. In fact, another home I went to, I just had food. Then I asked, okay, should I look at any chart? And then I was sitting facing the south direction. And as we know, the south is the direction of Yama. So then I asked him, is there anyone dead or something like that happening here? Is there any kind of any kind of death that happened also? They said, yeah, all of them were gathered in that house to commemorate the anniversary of the death of their father. That's why they were there. So I was there visiting with Aditya ji actually. So it's very interesting to see how the directions play into the into the reading. And of course, there are the other directions also. That is one. So just pay attention to the direction where you're sitting when a particular question is being asked at that particular moment.
Wow.
Can be the direction of the other person, can be the direction of where you are facing. That is one simple technique. Now the other simple prashna technique which Dr. Pai is one who actually taught that is simply whenever say someone asks, will I get a job or anything like that, right? You can ask them to tell a number between 1 and 28. A number from 1 to 27.
Okay.
So whatever number they say, so they will say like say 5. Look at the 5th nakshatra. So whatever nakshatra is corresponding to the number, simply use that.
So
5th nakshatra
in their natal chart.
No. Just look at that. You don't know the chart, nothing like that.
Okay.
All you know is the transit that is happening right now.
Okay.
So you can. They will ask, will I get a job? Will I travel? All that. Look at the 5th nakshatra. They'll tell them to tell a number from 1 to 27. Okay. Look at that nakshatra number which they are saying. Make that nakshatra as the ascendant and start reading the chart. It's as simple as that. Wow. So today I said, I randomly said 5th nakshatra is very interesting. Moon is actually transiting Mrigashira nakshatra, which is actually the 5th nakshatra also. So now say someone said 5th nakshatra, I would make Mrigashira nakshatra as the ascendant, and then you could look at, okay, what is happening in Mrigashira right now? So Moon and Rahu right now in Gemini are padas of Mrigashira. Wow. And then you also have Taurus ascendant also. So that is also going to be a tricky part with certain nakshatras. Certain nakshatras will be split. Yes. Certain nakshatras will be, that is having its own thing. At some point we can discuss that. But just, it's a simple technique. So Mrigashira nakshatra, look at where the nakshatra lord is sitting. So if someone asks, will I be required to travel? You can easily say that because the nakshatra lord Mars is 3 houses away from Mrigashira right now, there'll be some kind of travel that is happening. It's a very simple technique. You just need to look at the nakshatra lord, look at the house it is sitting in of that particular nakshatra, and then you can kind of give a simple answer to that simple question in that moment. That is one thing I will just encourage everyone to simply practice that technique, and the more you will just begin to use it, the more it will imply.
And in this, we are only using the nakshatras also, so that's even fascinating. Yeah.
Exactly. And then, you can, so one question I always ask my clients, most of the clients whom I interact with, I ask them, tell me a random number from 1 to 27. So, and almost 99%, I can say that the entire reading could be summarized by making the nakshatra as the ascendant and just reading that of that chart. But of course, being the astrologer and looking at birth chart and stuff, I had to explain the birth chart. But finally, when they ask me the question, what will happen to me in this phase and all that, most of the time to be matching that original prashna thing, And then you can, of course, if you know the birth chart, you can use variations. You can make the count from the moon nakshatra, that particular number. You can, do all kinds of things with that. You can make a count from the lagna nakshatra, that particular number. That's also one more simple thing.
Right.
And that's a very simple technique. You can do all kinds of things with that. But yeah, that's one easy technique. The third thing, I would say, I think I shared this with you. I think it was Babajit who actually shared that. So I'll kind of explain that.
Clock thing.
Yeah, the clock technique. Yeah. So he mentioned that another astrologer had mentioned that anyone who talks anything between 41 to 45 minutes would be auspicious, and it will just work itself out. Especially someone was asking a question at that moment in time when the minute hand was at 41 to 45 minutes. So I thought about that, and it was very interesting because the concepts that particular idea was hinting at was very, very interesting to think about. The first thing was that you could look at a clock, and then you realize that it's a circle, and the clock is actually having 12 divisions, just like the 12 rashis in the birth chart. And of course, our birth chart is actually having 12 divisions also. There is a circular chart which we create also. It's very straightforward, And then, now if you think again, so the astrologer was actually telling Babji ji that, if the minute hand is actually falling between 41 to 45 seconds, that means that I think the minute hand will be between 8 and 9 in the clock. Then it is very right. Then it is very auspicious, and it will just work itself out, and you will be lucky, and it will just work itself out. So then it made me think. So what is actually happening is that it's actually falling in the 9th sign of the zodiac, which is Sagittarius sign. So Sagittarius sign is exactly the ruled by Jupiter. It's a benefic. It's considered to be auspicious and things like that. So there is like that is one thing, and then it made perfect sense. Then I just took it to the next level, in which how you can understand that you can further, if you know this sign is Sagittarius, then you can even understand in nakshatra where that particular minute is falling in also. So like if you know that the half of Sagittarius is actually Mula Nakshatra. Well, 1/3 of Sagittarius is actually Mula Nakshatra. We know that for sure, right? So you can say for sure that from 40 minute to probably like 41 minute or something like that, 41 minute and 30 seconds or something like that. That is definitely 1/3 of that 5-minute mark.
Yes.
So that is approximately that. So if the minute hand is actually falling in that particular point, then 100% you can say Mula Nakshatra.
Wow.
So you can say. So it's like, okay, if someone asks something at that particular moment, you can see that, and you can make give one more additional kind of thing. Okay, some Mula Nakshatra dreams. So you are dealing with some kind of Kali-like energy, maybe like a very difficult woman you are dealing with, or you're having a blessing of a goddess or something like that. That kind of thing you can say also. So that was one thing. And of course, it's a simple. Mula Nakshatra is an easier nakshatra to understand the division of, but the more you connect with that circle and this nakshatra concept within that division, I think there is a lot more mystery in that. To be frank, I think at some point in the future I might share more on that. But I think, but if you just begin with that simple technique, right, you are at least getting some kind of clue. And one interesting thing about techniques even is that we try to fit ourselves to one particular technique, and I don't think that's the correct way. That's a general thing. Just go for the technique that is very natural to you. That's the easiest thing I can say, and this is what astrologers learn after years. They'll study a lot of things, and finally 1, 2 or 3 techniques will actually be sticking with them, and you'll be practicing that same technique 100 times, 200 times, things like that. And then you will kind of become very good with one particular set of techniques, and that's fine. That's very important also. And for some people it will be omens, for some people it will be space and all that. For some people it will be maybe some complicated yoga, and so, and that's also completely fine, because it's very important to understand that each technique is having its own energy by itself. And the technique responds to the energy which you yourself is carrying. That's also very, very important. So yeah, Manji. So I just I won't call.
Yeah, this is brilliant, Sandeep ji, because I remember when we last met, because viewer has to listen this example because it's going to make more sense what Sandeep ji is saying. When we last met, Sandeep ji asked me on a personal note that how many children I have. I still remember that because from that moment I took the omens very seriously. So
Right.
the moment when you asked me, there was a waiter coming where we were sitting in the banquet hall, and the waiter brought two bottles.
Right.
He said, "So you have two children?" And I was like, "This is serious stuff." Even though I was taking omens, like giving a very prominent in my analysis, but that moment really was bang on.
Right.
Another thing, when you explained me so well with the clock thing, I still remember one of the follower. She messaged me, and at that moment, I remembered the big hand on the clock was on 5, and the question related to her was on Magha.
Right. Exactly.
So I tried answering that with Magha and the opposite nakshatra Dhanishta,
Right.
which worked, which actually
Right.
worked. So I was making the whatever you taught me. I made that technique as a prashna in nakshatra.
Right.
So, but these topics, these techniques, no one talks about. So it's really fascinating for all the viewers that they are getting this knowledge from you.
Right. I'll just say one thing on the omens part. This is something I hope to address in the future also. Like, the book which I'm supposed to write with Aditya Ji at some point, whenever that happens.
Looking forward to that.
But yeah, the thing is that we have to understand, we think about these techniques as astrology even. It's like, okay, it's like something that happens in the mind. It is completely separate from the event. You do something in your mind and you're able to predict, and and then the event just happens by itself independently. That's what we assume. But when we begin to understand deeper, we see that whatever is actually happening in your mind is actually the actual event also. So whatever is happening in your mind is literally connected with your event. And you can see that, how you think, you speak, your actions eventually end up like that. But at a deeper subconscious level, your thoughts are directly linked to the event also, in a deeper
Absolutely.
level also.
Absolutely.
So that's why that when we suddenly pay attention to some things, it's actually, we are not some people would say it's not astrology. It's astrology. You only have to look at star and you have to limit yourself to that. I would say that's not right. You're just missing the bigger picture here, because then you are getting a deeper understanding of the nature of event itself. Your deeper understanding of karma itself. Because what is karma? Karma is, and I'll just say that also, I think it's one of the easiest things that we all forget. Like, most of the karma that is happening to us is nothing but the energy that we have released out into the universe ourselves, and that is coming back to us through someone else. You know, and that is 100% the law of karma. And then we have the option to align our karma with dharma, with the right action, right word, right thought. We have that option also. So there is that degree of freedom which we do have. But then when there are some karma which is sanchita karma, right? And prarabdha karma, which will play out as dashas and things like that, which will play out as a chart also. But then the Kriyamana karma is one karma which also exists in theory. Kriyamana karma is a karma which you are creating in this lifetime. So you know what? It's not just karma that is happening, but there is also an element of karma which we can also create. Though there are astrologers who claim everything is fate and all that, I also agree with that. But that's happening at a deeper level of dimension. That is requiring a deeper understanding of time even. But then even just understanding that, what the karma you're facing is something you yourself created. If you just understand and accept that, right? That's the biggest healing thing. Like, just okay, someone saying, yeah, I'm not, I don't know why I'm getting job, or someone cheated me out of money or something like that. You look into the chart and you see clearly that in past life someone actually was cheated because of their ancestors or something like that, and literally there was someone who actually went through worse at that point in time, and that karmic energy is simply coming back to you. So then the question becomes like, are you going to are you going to change yourself? Are you going to improve yourself? Are you willing to accept that? Okay, fine. Are you willing to accept the punishment? Like, okay, I did a sin. I'm accepting that punishment, and am I willing to face through it and learn from it? Learn from the experience which I'm learning, which I go through, and can I become a better human being as a result of that? And that's a big aspect, Amanji. I have to really say that, because you meet with all kinds of people, and then through astrology even, and then you eventually learn that sure, karma has multiple faces. It can come in the face of a rich man, can come with the face of a widow, can come in face of like any like a student who is trying to become a great person, all that.
Right.
But very very important thing is that that simple understanding of karma, of that energy, whatever you release is actually going to come back to you.
Yeah.
And that's what is actually playing out in the birth chart. And then when you understand that, okay, some energies are going to be released because of your previous karmas. Some energies, may take some more additional thing. And it's very interesting. In my opinion, understanding planets and houses, right? You can actually give all kinds of predictions just by understanding that. You don't need any. I mean, I'm surprised by that itself. But but yeah, Manji, I think I just want to share that idea about karma, because when we begin to understand deeply about karma, we begin to understand that, there is an actual place or an actual way how omens will also fit karma, because at that particular moment, God is always giving you signs one way or the other.
Absolutely. Because recently, Sandeep ji, Joni Petriji, she also spoke very openly on omens, that how
Right.
important they are, and we get the messages in advance.
Right.
But we, like in a mundane world, we don't put enough emphasis or importance to those. But omens are very important. And I always tell all the viewers also that before we jump onto the word astrology, before we jump onto the word Jyotish, there are many zillion basic fundamentals which we have to understand and learn before getting into the astrology word or the astrology world. So it's beautiful that you're speaking on that, because I cannot get enough of the basic fundamentals in my head before I jump onto the prediction part, because just like Dr. Pai always says, and he still says, and he's very firm on that, this is strictly has used as a predictive tool in a mundane level, where it should be used as a self-corrective tool for the better present, so that we can get better future.
Yes.
But not many people talk about that. So I'm really impressed, and thank you to you, sir, that you are speaking on the basic fundamentals which are so important.
Yeah, because we have the option to accept our karma. In fact, the karma, one of the great sentences I ever read on karma is like, karma is the way to deal with karma is intelligent action with dispassionate reaction.
Yeah.
So you're acting intelligently. You understand what is happening, what works, how it works, how you can deal with it. That you are dealing with it. And dispassionate reaction. Dispassionate, there is no point reacting to something that's already happening.
Yeah. Totally.
That is just what it is. And then the more you accept and more you intelligently accept it, you know what? Okay, fine. Actually, and it actually begins to change the way you look at things. Because one great thing, Amanji, is that this is something I'll probably make this the last point. I just wanted to share this, but it's a very deep point, Amanji. It's just a simple idea that you are able to actually give predictions about your wife, your son, your parents, just from your own chart.
Wow.
Now, what does that mean actually? What does that actually mean? It's a very, if you look at its implication, now that's a deep thing.
Wow.
What it means that your parents, your children, even your grandparents are actually linked to you karmically.
Absolutely.
They are your karma playing out into their, sure, they have an individual birth chart that is playing out, and then, you have your own individual birth chart that is playing out. But then the fact that you can still make predictions about your family members, And even to the point of your best friend, even, you can even predict your best friend who is not linked with you anyway. Even the person who is hanging out with you all the time, you can even give predictions for that based on your chart. I mean, 11th house is friends, third house is friends, your neighbors even. You can even actually make predictions about your neighbors just based on your own chart. What does that actually mean? Now that's if you understand that, right, that's it. Because like what that means is that everything is connected. Everything is connected. Like you can say, like, okay, your father is getting some money or something like that. Let's say that. Let's assume that. Now, when that happens, the houses that is activated. Based on your chart what houses will be activated.
Yeah.
Correspondingly, you can easily predict how your career will be and things like that also.
Yeah.
And I think we have lost that kind of understanding, at this point, because that simple fact that, okay, you can actually give predictions for the best career for your wife based on your chart, the best career for your first child, the second child, the spouse of your first child, how it will be,
Right.
all that kind of thing, just based on one chart, right? It's actually showing that you are karmically linked with the people in your life. You want to improve your karma, improve the people in your life also. That nature of compassion, the nature of love, you can actually show to your family members, and if you begin to apply that, there's all kinds of things you can do with that, and you'll be actually surprised by that, to the point where and this is when you see an animal, you can actually identify which chart, which planets are being activated. Immediately you can begin to give predictions based on that, and then suddenly you realize, how am I even now? This is the next layer. How am I even able to predict about an animal from my chart?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then suddenly, so it's like it's showing you deeper dimensions of karma. So it's actually showing deeper dimensions of karma, and we have to begin to work with the karma that is in front of us.
Right.
And slowly things will actually begin to improve and play out harmoniously.
Right.
And I think that's very important thing, and it's a deep thing to think about. Even it's a deep thing to think about, like the people you hate in your life, and there's a reason for their existence based on your chart.
Yeah.
And then the people you love in your life, they also have a reason for existence also.
Right.
And then you think deeply about it, suddenly there's like it's your karma. There are karmic connections that are actually playing out also.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, Amanji, I think I just wanted to share that idea of simply begin to connect things more.
Right.
Especially like especially with the houses also. But also the first level is going to be the act of observation.
Yeah.
Look at what is happening.
Very important. That is very important, because other than whatever knowledge I have gotten from you, from Dr. Pai or Eve G, or with the full Pai team, I only got to analyze that with the combination of my own observations.
Exactly.
And because when I, just like I have mentioned in the Couples D interview also, that like my own, if I'm after something, or if I'm after some nakshatra, only your own observation will make you believe in the nakshatra itself, or only your own observation will make you connect with those deities associated with particular nakshatras.
Yes.
So observations are very important, and more you're going to observe, more you're going to learn. That's what I tell everyone.
Yes, Amanji, for sure. I think there is a true Jyotisha is truly the light within ourselves that is supposed to grow. I think the act of observing is step one for that, and then slowly that knowledge within us will also grow, through our own, Jyoti within, that's one true thing.
Which I have learned again from you as well, that you can custom made with all those observations. Like I remember just few days ago, there was one lady who was getting the consultation. She had Ketu in Dhanishta in the 10,000. Again, she was having troubles related to career, which is very common these days. So I just said, can you buy, or can you get a Ganesh ji having a drum beat, like where the Ganesh ji is beating the drums? and
Right.
at your workplace or maybe in your
Right.
house. So just like this, with combining Ketu element, combining Dhanishta element, combining
Yes.
Ganesh,
Exactly.
it works. It works wonders, and I have seen it with great results. And again, all these techniques, viewers, I have learned from Sandeep ji, from the Pi team. It's so no knowledge belongs to me; it belongs to each and everyone. That's what I've learned from these teachers.
Yeah, for sure, Amanji. That's brilliant. That's what you shared about, combining those things. Absolutely. I think only observation will allow us to get more creative remedies also in the future. And we all need to observe more. And the more we do, the more we share, the more we learn also. So
Right.
yeah,
Right, sir. So,
yeah,
sir, I
great,
know
Amanji.
time is little late for you, but we would love to have you back. You have to come, and we might see you maybe next weekend again, because there are certain topics on nakshatras which people want to learn, which I want to learn personally from you. And the topic which I was discussing earlier was there out of the 27 nakshatras, there are certain nakshatras which are seen with a very bad phobia. Like whenever they think about those nakshatras, people get phobia, like it's all about negative. Like I'll give you an example, like Aradhra, Jeshta,
Yes, yes,
Ashalesha, or
yes,
even Mula or
yes,
Bhadrapadas. Whenever people think about that, they think they are the suiciders, or they
yes.
are just about all the ill things we can think of. So, but I really want your insights, your positive insights on those nakshatras in coming videos, because so that we all can learn and we can have a different perspective for those nakshatras.
Sure, Amanji. Yeah, for sure. In the future, for sure.
And,
Yeah.
and lastly, many people ask me that what book we can refer to in order to learn nakshatra. So, what are your feedback on that, sir?
Well, I would say book of Nakshatras by Prash Trivedi. That's a great place to start.
Okay.
The second book I would recommend is The Divine Lunar Mansions, the Lunar Nakshatra Deities by, let's see, by Radhe or Susan. Am I there?
Your voice is cracking down.
Yeah, I think, okay, let's see. I think it should be up now.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Please
but
look at Omen again.
yeah, so yeah, definitely. I think Musan Fau's Radhe Divine Lunar Nakshatra book is also good.
Right, sir.
But most the best book you will ever have is to have your own Nakshatra journal. That's it, straightforward. Have a book. This today's moon nakshatra is Mrigashira. Start writing on Mrigashira Nakshatra day. Every month when the same nakshatra happens, do it. I can guarantee you within 3 months you will become a master of nakshatras. Like you just do it for 3 months. Every day, 5 minutes, note down the observations. Could be like simple observation. I was watching, TV and a deer came up or something like that. And the
Yeah,
moment when you have
yeah, that exactly happened today. It was a Mrigashira day. I was going to the temple, and from nowhere, I saw a big elk, which is kind of like a deer in a mall.
right,
So it's,
right,
and just like this, when you observe traits like that, attributes of certain nakshatras, you learn a lot.
yes.
So whatever 1% I have gotten from nakshatras, it is because of the observations and of course with the guidance of the Pi team members. Absolutely, I totally agree with you, sir.
Yeah, great.
Thank
Aman.
you, Sandeep
Yeah,
ji. And in the
sure.
end, if someone wants to consult you, where they
Right,
can go?
right. For now, I think I'm. You can get my readings through Cosmic Insights.
Okay.
I think that's there. So you can go through cosmicinsightshop.com and you can get that readings from there. That's fine.
Perfect.
So yeah, great.
Thank
Okay,
you, Sandeep ji. I
sure,
cannot get enough of you. So
sure.
but you do have to come back again on those nakshatras,
Yeah,
and we all want to learn from you.
yeah, Amanji. I'm, as a student of Nakshatra, I'm very happy that you are actually sharing your knowledge. And that itself takes takes its own karma and takes its own blessings also. So I'm very happy that I was part of that. Thank you for that, Aman.
It's my
Thank you for
honor.
that.
Your teacher coming to your own channel, it's a big blessing for me.
No, honor is mine. I'm coming on my student's channel, right? So that is my honor. So yeah.
Thank you, sir. I'll see you again.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.